So Apple's apparently about to make the most expensive iPhone ever in the most boring colours possible. And honestly, I completely understand why. According to multiple leaks, the foldable iPhone, which is still expected to be called the iPhone Ultra, could launch with just two colours. Yeah, that's it. Apparently we're looking at some sort of silver white option plus this deep indigo blue that's similar to the iPhone 17 deep blue. No bright reds, no titanium desert sunset cosmic whatever marketing name Apple invents every year, just safe colours. And people are already acting disappointed about this, and I'm sitting here thinking, have you seen how Apple launches entirely new product categories before? This is literally the most Apple thing imaginable. The iPhone X launched in just silver and space grey back in 2017, and at the time people complained about that as well. Then a year later, Apple added gold with the iPhone XS once production became easier and yields improved. I genuinely think they're doing the same thing here again with the iPhone Ultra, especially since a foldable already sounds like an absolute nightmare to manufacture. And honestly, I'm not surprised they want to keep the SKU count low. People forget every extra colour isn't just paint, it's separate manufacturing processes, separate inventory management, separate logistics, separate repair stock, separate marketing renders, separate accessories, separate quality testing. On a normal iPhone? Fine, Apple sells like a billion of those things, but in a foldable that's supposedly going to be supply constrained for ages anyway? Yeah, they're not going to be wasting time making 8 different colours for a phone most stores probably won't have in stock properly until 2027, which is another funny part of this rumour, by the way. Apparently Minchiko believes smooth production for this thing might not even happen properly until 2027 because of production issues and yield challenges, meaning this launch could genuinely feel like the original iPhone X all over again, where people are desperately refreshing delivery dates at 5 AM, trying to secure one before they vanish for 6 weeks. Except now, instead of $999, this thing could be over $2,000. $2,000 for an iPhone. I still can't mentally process that sentence without laughing slightly. Apple really looked at the current cost of living situation and said, what if your smartphone was the same price as a used car from Facebook Marketplace? And the thing is, it's still probably going to sell out instantly. Not in normal iPhone numbers obviously, this isn't replacing the regular iPhone anytime soon, but amongst tech enthusiasts, content creators, rich Apple fans who buy every new product before Tim Cook even finishes announcing it, yeah, demand is going to be ridiculous, especially because Apple entering a new category changes public perception overnight. That's just how the reality is at this point. Foldables have existed for years now. Samsung's been grinding away at them since the dinosaurs, Honor's making insanely thin ones, Google joined in, OnePlus joined in, but for a lot of average consumers, foldables still feel like experimental devices that YouTubers use for 2 weeks before quietly switching back to an iPhone. Once Apple releases one though, completely different conversation. Suddenly, every app developer starts caring more, accessory companies flood the market, carriers push them aggressively, social media treats foldables like the future overnight. Apple has this weird ability to legitimize product categories even when they arrive embarrassingly late to them. And honestly, being late might help them massively here, because Apple got to spend years sitting back watching everyone else deal with the problems first. Creases, broken hinges, dust getting into displays, weird aspect ratios, terrible app optimization, foldables that look incredible in YouTube thumbnails but feel awkward in real life after 3 days. Apple basically got free market research from the entire Android industry. That's probably why I'm less interested in the colours and more interested in how Apple positions this thing strategically. Because this phone feels bigger than just, here's an iPhone that folds. It almost feels like Apple testing where the iPhone and iPad eventually merge together. The rumoured inner display is around 7.8 inches, that's massive. Once unfolded, you're basically approaching iPad mini territory. So now Apple has this weird balancing act where they need the foldable to feel revolutionary without accidentally making people question why they own both an iPhone and an iPad anymore. Because let's be honest, if Apple nails continuity and multitasking on this thing, it becomes terrifyingly appealing. Imagine proper split screen apps, proper Apple Pencil support eventually, maybe, smoother handoff with Macs, full optimization for Apple Intelligence features. Suddenly this isn't just a folding phone anymore, it's almost a mini computer you can carry around. And honestly, this is why the muted colours make complete sense. The hardware itself is already the statement product. Apple doesn't need bright orange finishes or neon blue titanium nonsense to make people notice this thing. The fact it folds in half is enough attention already. Also, and this sounds harsh, I generally don't think the target audience for a £2,000 foldable really cares that much about fun colours. This is probably going to attract the same kind of buyers who purchase MacBook Pros in space black and act like they've become Batman. Premium buyers usually lean towards understated finishes anyway. Apple knows that. There's a reason luxury watches aren't sold in electric mango titanium. Although knowing Apple, they'll probably release a gold version for the second gen just to make first gen buyers immediately jealous. They do this constantly. They absolutely know people double dip in upgrades for cosmetic changes. And you just know the marketing around this thing is going to be absurdly dramatic. There'll be slow motion hinge shots, ambient piano music, someone gently unfolding the device while staring thoughtfully out a window. Johnny Ive probably materializes a hologram halfway through the keynote, whispering about aluminium atoms aligning spiritually. Actually, no, scratch that. They'll probably call it the most personal folding experience ever created, which honestly sounds less like a phone and more like an expensive yoga lesson. And if you're enjoying these deeper Apple discussions, by the way, subscribe because we're getting ridiculously close to the point where foldable iPhone leaks stop sounding fake and start sounding inevitable, which is honestly terrifying for my wallet personally. One thing I do think is smart though is limiting production intentionally, because if Apple can't guarantee durability yet, the last thing they want is tens of millions of these things everywhere immediately. Foldables are still inherently more fragile than slab phones. I don't get how advanced the hinge is, you're literally bending a display every day. And Apple knows people will scrutinize this thing harder than any iPhone ever made. Every crease will become a viral tweet, every hinge issue becomes a YouTube thumbnail with red arrows and shocked faces. Every durability test instantly gets 15 million views. You already know Joe Rig everything's preparing for this launch, which is why I think Apple's cautious approach here actually makes sense. Limited colours, limited quantities, ultra premium pricing, small rollouts. It feels controlled, like Apple wants this thing to feel exclusive and experimental without openly admitting it's experimental. Kind of like the Vision Pro launch, honestly. Apple's first-gen products usually exist to establish a direction more than dominate sales immediately. The foldable feels exactly like that. A statement product, an ecosystem flex, a look at what we can do now kind of device. And honestly, the colours are probably the least important part of it anyway. I do hope though that in the future, as there's more demand and the tech becomes more accessible, we do see Apple bring the price down to something more reasonable. The same happened with the original iPhone, but we never really saw the same happen with foldables. Years later, they're still all very expensive, so hopefully Apple can change that. I know they're not usually known for value, but the MacBook Neo shook the industry at $599, so the iPhone Ultra 3 a few years later can do the same. If you've made it this far, comment the words hinge down below so I know that you guys actually watched till the end, because apparently YouTube now thinks attention spans last approximately 4 seconds. But yeah, let me know whether you think Apple's playing it smart with the limited colours, or if you think a $2,000 Ultra iPhone should be a bit more exciting to look at, because I can already see both sides honestly. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the hype button as well, because it genuinely helps small creators like me massively with the algorithm. And if you want more iPhone Ultra coverage, go watch my previous video about Apple reportedly making this thing way easier to repair than other foldables, because that rumor honestly surprised me even more than this one did.